Guillaume Roux, thank you so much for being with us today. You're a tour guide here in Paris, and one of your beats is the 16th arrondissement. Now, when Parisians think about the 16th, they tend to imagine wealthy people living here, women in fur coats, people driving flashy cars. Where does this cliché come from?
Actually, there are many reasons. First of all, it's true that historically it's been a place where rich people used to live. First of all, in the 17th century, some aristocrats start to build huge properties that were facing the river Seine. Then in the early 18th century, also because the king, Louis XIV, had moved to Versailles, some aristocrats then moved a little bit more west. And then in the Industrial Revolution, the factories were located on the east side of Paris and the rich people on the west. So they were not annoyed by the smoke of the factories going east.
So there is some truth to the cliché.
There's definitely some truth. Also, the 16th district is a very spread out arrondissement. So, for example, if you live close to Porte Saint-Cloud, it's not the same that if you live close to Trocadero. And sometimes it's cheaper to live near Porte Saint-Cloud than in Le Marais.
And that's also what's so unique about the 16th is that it's just so big.
Yes, and you have some green space, you have some quietness, and that's what people are looking for now. So that's why I think the 16 has a good future, something good to come.
All right, well, let's go take a look.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I feel like we've time traveled a little bit right here. What's the history of the 16th?
Basically, Passy and Auteuil, who are now districts of Paris, used to be villages outside the city. And it was a mix of a rural, a countryside vibe and huge aristocratic properties. We could say the beginning of the change of this district is the French Revolution, because some of the nobles who used to live there have been either killed or they've moved away. But then in 1860, like many villages, Montmartre, Belleville, Passy, Auteuil have been integrated to Paris. But we consider that Passy is the village that has been the more brutally integrated. When you think of Passy before 1860, there was no sidewalk, no sewers, just one oil lamp. So it was very rural. When you see Passy nowadays, it's been urbanized very intensively.
And you're going to show us some of those buildings now.
Yes, with pleasure.
All right, let's go.
So let's do a quiz about this building.
Okay.
All right.
When do you think it was created?
1920.
1900.
1900. So you won. It's 1903, 1904. But usually people tend to say 1920. It's true because it looks Art Deco, but it's actually Art Nouveau slowly translating into Art Deco. It's a masterpiece by Auguste Perret and his brothers. There were actually three. And it's in reinforced concrete, but you have this super nice floral design because back then they didn't want to show the reinforced concrete straight. So they had to put decoration on it.
Your company is called Le Vrai Paris, the real Paris. Would you say the 16th arrondissement is real Paris?
Yeah, definitely. In French, we have a saying, which is tout est bon dans le cochon, everything is good in the pig. And actually, that's what makes the interest of Paris. It's quite a small city, but there's very different vibes, very different districts. So Paris is the 16 as much as the 19, the Latin Quarter, Montmartre, it's all Paris.
One thing's for sure, I think the 16th is the champion of dog poop in Paris, unfortunately.
Yeah, being a tour guide and walking in the street, it's true that I think they have the gold medal.
So watch your step if you're in the 16th. We'll have to watch our step as we continue our tour.
Yeah, especially when you look at the facade.